Buddha gives us a very beautiful teaching where he says about how we can repay our mother and father. He starts off by saying that there are two people in the world who are so difficult and so hard and we cannot easily repay them. Who are these two people? He says it's your mother and father. And then he goes on to say that if you are to carry your mother and father in each one of the shoulders, and if you are taking care of them for 100 years by bathing them, by massaging them, or even if they urinate and defecate in your shoulders and still you take care of them for 100 years, still he says you wouldn't have repaid your parents. Then he goes on to say that if you are to establish your mother and father as monarchs who rule the entire world and give them all the treasures of the world, he says even then you wouldn't have repaid the debt that you have for your parents. Why is that? Because it is these mother and father who have brought you into the world, who have nourished you, fed you, and showed the whole world to you. So that's the reason he says that you have this enormous debt for your parents. And then he goes on to say how you can more than repay your parents. He gives 4 different ways by which we can more than repay our parents. What are the 4 ways? He says first one, in case your parents they don't have faith, if you're able to establish them in faith, he says that you would have more than repaid your parents. Then second, he says, if your parents are stingy and if you're able to establish them in generosity, then he says you would have more than repaid your parents. And third one, he says, if they are immoral people, if you're able to establish them as moral people, then you would have more than repaid your parents. And the fourth one, he says that if they are people without much wisdom, and if you are able to establish them in wisdom, he says again that you would have more than repaid your parents. So like this, he gives us 4 different ways by which we can more than repay our parents. I found it very inspiring because as children, there are many times we might feel that how we can repay our parents. And Buddha is someone who understands the law of karma so well, and he beautifully gives us a way, 4 different ways by which we can repay our parents. I really hope that this was very inspiring for me. I hope it is inspiring for you too. Always so happy to share Buddha's teaching.